All right, guys. So today's lesson is on area of a trapezoid and of kites and rhombi. So to start off, area of a trapezoid is actually really easy, and you could figure this out on your own just by breaking it into different shapes and finding the area of it. So technically, a trapezoid is simply just a rectangle and two triangles. So you could find the area of the rectangle and then each of the triangles and add them all up together. And that's the long way. The other thing to keep in mind that there is a formula for the trapezoid, and that is that the area equals 1/2 the height times base 1 plus base 2. Now, that actually comes from the fact that you can break a trapezoid into two triangles. So if you were to find the area of the first triangle here, this would be base 1, and you'd have to find the height of this. So you'd form a perpendicular height right here, right? And this would be h. Then on this triangle here, you do the same exact thing. So it would be base 2 for this triangle, right? And then the height of this would be the same as the height. Actually, I didn't even have to draw that on the outside there, but same as this height here. So the heights are the same. So if you were to find the area of the first triangle, it would be area equals, actually, I'm not even going to write A equals. We know it's A. I would do 1/2 base 1, right, times the height. And then you'd add the area of the second triangle, which is also 1/2, in this case, base 2 times the height. So you can pull out the GCF of 1/2 h, and then you're left with B1 plus B2. So if you're ever curious where that formula comes from, that's actually how it was derived. So now that fun is over, let's talk about the trapezoids down below. Right off the bat here, we know this base here is 10. This base here we don't know, but we also don't know the height. Lucky for us, we have an isosceles trapezoid where this angle here is 30 degrees and the side length, the leg length is 8. So once we have this 8 here and it's a 30, 60, 90 triangle, then that means we know the base of this triangle here is going to be 4. And then this is going to be 4√3 based off our 30, 60, 90 rules. Okay, so now because it's isosceles, I'm going to drop another altitude over here. And it's isosceles, so these triangles are going to be the same. So that distance there will also be 4, and this down here will be 10 as well. So now we actually have the base at the bottom, the base at the top, and the height. So now you can do area equals 1/2 the height, 4√3, times base 1, 10, plus base 2, 18. Okay, now 10 plus 18 is clearly 28. And then you have 4√3.5 on the outside. Okay, and you just go ahead and multiply them. When you do, you're going to get 56√3. And we always label our answers, so it's going to be inches squared. And that's it. Okay, now if I asked you to find the perimeter, that should be a piece of cake. The perimeter would just be adding up all of the sides. So it'd be 18 plus 10 plus 8 plus 8, which is another 16. Okay, so go ahead and add those together, and you should have 44 inches. Just make sure you left it as inches, not inches squared, because remember, perimeter is not in square units. All right, so now this one here, same exact thing. You have another 30, 60, 90 triangle here. So once I see that, I'm going to label my hypotenuse was 4. So this down here has to be 2, and this over here, the height has to be 2√3. Now, lucky for us, this 7 up here is going to be the same down here, so this will be 7, making the full base 9. Now, once you have that, you can go ahead and do the same exact thing, 1/2 the height, 2√3 times base 1, 7 plus base 2, 9. Okay, And again, you can just, the 1/2 and the 2 there will actually cancel out. And then all you're left with is 16 root 3. Again, label your answer centimeters squared. Okay, and hopefully I'll shift this over a pinch so you can see a little better. I'm going off camera. And that's pretty much it. I mean, this isn't too bad. The perimeter here, you could say, well, this height here has to be 2 root 3. 9 plus 7 is 16. 16 plus 4 is 20. So the perimeter here would be 20 plus 2 root 3 centimeters. Remember, you cannot add a 20 and a 2 root 3 because radicals can only be combined with like terms. All right, so that is trapezoids. On the back is going to be your kites and your rhombi. Now, your kites and rhombi, I'm only going to do one of these because, quite frankly, we did it in class earlier and it's super easy. If you remember, we derived the formula, and the formula is just that, oh, sorry, I shook my camera there. It's area equals 1/2 diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. Remember, you are multiplying and it's the full diagonal length. So don't do half of it or anything like that. It's the full. So if you look at the first picture, this is a rhombus. So this is 10 feet and so is that. So that gives you a full length of 20. Okay. And then the other segment is, half of that is 12. So then the full is 24. Sorry guys, my hat is hitting the camera. Times the 1/2. All right. So go ahead and multiply that and you should get 240 square feet. All right. That's about it. I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory. It's really not that challenging. The only thing I can say is on this one down here, I gave you the area and this is X. So the full diagonal length is actually 2X. Okay. This length here is 14.6. And then you have the 1/2 in front. And in this case, it has to equal the 96. So you can go ahead and just multiply it all out. You're going to get 96 is equal to the 1/2 and the 2, they're going to cancel. So you get 14.6x. And then when you divide, you're going to get 6.6 inches. Okay. So that was just working backwards. Now, if you do number 6 on your own, the 6 inches is the side of this. Actually, no, it can't be the side. I thought it was, but now that I look at it, it must be this piece right here. So it's part of the diagonal. So now you're going to have to do the Pythagorean theorem, and this would be 8 here. So that might help you in solving that on your own. I'm going to post the key on Google Classroom just so you have it. All right, guys. Hope you're doing well. Bye.